What motivates you? What is your motivation? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you work hard? Why do you grind? Why do you keep going? Why do you do the things that you do? Welcome in, fam. Much love, Trav here. And it turns out that most of us are motivated by about 4 core main reasons. And we could call those movement/freedom, mating, mastery/status, and money. So we're going to talk about those, analyze them. You're going to have a better idea of yourself after this and a better idea of other people. Know thyself, self-awareness. I'm out here hanging out with the sheep, chilling in their pasture, which is just regrown, hanging out with my girl Freckles. You can see she likes to, she's behind me in this picture. She likes to chew on my clothes. So we'll give it a little bit wind, a little bit nature sound, keep it 100 for you. So I got this idea actually, or the 4 M's of motivation from Tai Lopez. Tai Lopez, highly recommend his podcast, really good stuff in entrepreneurship. He's lived a really interesting life, done a lot of things. It was really him that led me to Joel Salatin and got me more interested in farming. If I hadn't found him, I don't know that I would have done that. And I recommend him as a resource, In 2015, when I started following Tai, a lot of people thought he's a scammer and he's full of shit and he's fake. Well, he's been around for a couple years now. His story checks out, and he's really, really impressive influencer. So check him out. Anyway, so 4 M's of motivation. I'm going to share mine, and you can follow along from home and write it down on a piece of paper and share yours. So movement/freedom is like, the ability to travel, freedom of time and location, be where you want to be, when you want to be, sort of lifestyle where you forgo money or you forgo mating or you forgo status to just kind of travel India or travel Europe or travel, or be where you want, choose the life you want to live, that sort of a thing. How motivating is that to you? We're going to go through them. We're going to come back to me. Mating, obviously, the opposite sex, and not just sex, but kids and family, and how motivated you are for that. That one kind of speaks for itself. And then we have mastery/status. That's being good at what you are and being well respected for what you do and being known about and considered and a top person at what you do, being respected, having credentials, that sort of a thing. Status, not just money, but being known, fame, that sort of a thing. And then you have money. Obviously, a lot of us are motivated by money, just want to make cash, have things, materialistic, money/materialism. So what are you motivated by? You can rank them. Obviously, we're all motivated by 4 somewhat, but it's good to know you're in your order. So for me, for instance, it fluctuates. For a lot of my life, it's been movement/freedom. When I was young, I was exposed to the 4-hour work week by Tim Ferriss, which is the idea of freedom of time and location. The idea was not at all to be rich or to be a millionaire. So I really bought into that. I wanted to explore. So when I got into online business, it wasn't to make a lot of money. It was to make a freedom lifestyle. So that let me kind of drift around Europe and travel around Mexico and the US and try out a lot of different things. Freedom of movement. That was the main thing. I picked it over money. And then, when I was a teenager, obviously, like, mating was like the number one thing for a while. Like, as a teenager, horny teen, just want, and that goes with mastery and status in high school and the social circle and scene. Having a girlfriend was key, that sort of a thing. So it changed, Once I was traveling, mating was less important. I was more interested in the movement and more interested in the mastery and status. And then a little later on, like after I was done traveling, like you can tell, obviously I've been motivated by mastery or status. Like I wanted to be known as an entrepreneur, an author, a TEDx speaker, a coach, that sort of YouTuber, that sort of a thing. Have tattoos as display of status. I've never been that motivated by money. I mean, there's been times where I really needed to make money, but it was more to fuel mastery or more to fuel movement and to fuel mating. So, it's interesting how things change. Like now that I've traveled a ton in my life, I don't care for that much movement right now I don't care to travel. I don't care for that much freedom. I made commitments to here on the farm, and I really, really enjoy this lifestyle and really happy with that. You can still see I'm still motivated by mastery, pumping out these books and this YouTube, and wanting to climb the organization here and be the master of the retreat center, and which I'm doing. There'll be a link to this in the description, but we're going to start throwing retreats out here for people interested in organic farming and alternative ways of living. So you should check that out. Link to that in the description. I'm still motivated by that. You can see still not so much money. So right now it's more mastery and mating. Like, I got my money sorted somewhat enough. I don't need to move, and I'm interested in mating, doing that, that's the end game. Is not just like, oh, I want to have sex, but like, I want to have kids. I'm getting older. It's something I'm thinking down the road as I would like to have family, right? That's kind of end game of life. So, be interesting to see. Those of you, what are you motivated by? Movement, mating, mastery, money. Share yours in the comments. That would be really useful and interesting for us all to see if you shared in the comments what your 1, 2, 3, and 4 is right now. I would say number 1 for me is, honestly, 1 for me is mating. 2 for me is mastery. 3 for me is money. 4 for me is movement. It's funny because movement was number 1 for so long, but I got so much of it, I just don't care for it anymore. Like, I could travel, and I will do a little bit, I just don't need to. I like where I'm at right now. So it's interesting how it will change. Like, flashback to high school me, it was definitely, I didn't care for movement. Like, I couldn't make plays for movement because I was in school. So it was, I was mating again was 1. And mastery, though, and money and movement. So my early 20s, it was movement, mastery, money, mating was the bottom of the hierarchy. Although, I mean, this isn't in my new book. I wish I had told me sooner. But just so you guys know, like, for young males in your 20s, you're not particularly high value to society. Girls are interested in older guys who have more experience. And that's a good time to take hiatus and work on yourself. I think you can say, call me wrong. Like, it's normal to have age mate, girlfriend, boyfriend, and in high school, once you're farther along in life, age discrepancy is more normal. So once you're in your early 20s as a man, you don't have that much to offer. Girls, early 20 girls, super hot. Early 20s guys, not so much. It's not that you can't succeed in mating, but that's a good time to put your nose to the grindstone and level up, so that when you're in your later 20s, you have that mastery, that status, you have that money, you've traveled, you have the movement, mating comes much more easily. That's an important sequence to be aware of, I think. Especially for men. For women it's different. Women have this kind of glory power where they're so powerful over men, but for a shorter period of time, because the youth fades. It's just our reptile brains, how we think. But man, your 20s, 30s, you can be still very attractive into your 40s, just because of the way that mating works. Anyways, share down below what motivates you in order: movement, mating, mastery, money, what it is. Interested to hear and see what you have to say. So peace out, much love, and talk to you soon in the comments.